some of these phenomenal players. But
yeah, so I mean, so for Trolling God team, Nunu and Varus. So it looks like Nunu's jungling, so that's always really fun. Hopefully we'll see some aggressive counter jungling, because that's what I like to see. And then Varus and Jan in the bot lane with Ahri mid and Jax up top. Man, we're seeing a lot of Jax in the top lane. And of course, I mean, you can go on forever, because you do from time to time, about how good Jax is. But on the other side,
usually when I'm casting, someone next to me, they need to just poke me with a stick, because I'm just like, I start rambling.
Yeah, I don't have a stick. I do have this bottle.
Oh, get a little cattle prod or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the meantime, Spirit, they are moving up, and they actually take the long way around over to the race. And Team Troll God team, they're actually not in position, but they are peeking out. So they do, have kind of an inkling that they're there. A ward is dropped by the race. They will back off. So both teams, looking for an engage, but in the end, playing kind of defensively, they will go back to their normal jungle.
Yeah, God team looks like they were using a little bit of that fog of war to their advantage. I think they're maybe expecting them to hook around and jump on them, but that didn't happen. But Spirit, they're running Taric and Ezreal in the bot lane, Zyra mid, who Zyra is just really strong right now, and I think a lot of people would agree with that statement. And Shyvana jungle and Vlad top, so pretty normal stuff. Zyra's actually Varus is not normal at all in competitive play.
Yeah, it is kind of an unusual pick, but I'm curious if this is this most recent patch or if it's one patch before, because it might be one patch before Zyra was nerfed before Varus was actually buffed. So kind of I'm not exactly sure about how that lines up, but regardless, they're both very strong champions. Varus in the lane, he has strong attack range. It's 575, so he can use that to harass and win that lane pretty successfully. Then also the long range poke with his Q can be pretty successful. It can also be used for pushing, so they can push Ezreal into the lane, into the tower some. Janna is going to make that a very safe lane. Like they shouldn't have to worry about any ganks from Shyvana. Ezreal Taric, it is a very bursty kind of lane. It's a very aggressive lane, so they will kind of have to watch out that they don't get caught by the Taric stun, but otherwise it should be fine.
Yeah, and we don't see a lot of Varus because, I mean, I think his lack of escape, is that really like the big point? Especially with the rise of champions like Ezreal, like Corki, these champions that can actually kind of get out when they're in trouble.
Well, in particular, champions like Malphite that have that hard initiation. When you have a not very mobile AD carry, that can be a serious vulnerability. Varus does have really nice attack range. The issue is also there's not a lot of AoE from Varus, so when you compare Varus with the champion, it's really who you're looking to grab. And Corki and Ezreal, they have more mobility. Ashe has a little bit better CC than Varus does. The range on her volley is actually really strong. Oh, Spirit actually going in for a first blood there. A little bit of an exchange there. Ashe versus Varus, the volley has like almost double the range of Varus's E, and that's just how much burst damage Zyra has early on. So that's really just phenomenal. But Loke's doing a really nice job turning that around.
Nice, yeah, getting that first blood gold, which is always helpful. And Zyra is just really strong, controls space well, and is surprising, to me at least, how much damage she can do early game. So, I mean, Ahri, of course, doesn't really completely open up until level 6 with that ultimate, and so we'll see. It's going to be a completely different game once level 6 hits.
And that's the biggest strength of Zyra, is the fact that you have that killing potential without your ultimate. With the ultimate, you're just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you can kill someone with just a snare combo. That's all you need. So that kind of it allows you to kite more effectively. You can just play very defensively, try and pick people off. So we'll have to see. But I think the team that Trolling God is going with, it's a very single target oriented team. They want to be able to grab someone with an RE charm and then have Varus wear them down pretty quickly. Jax, late game, they're going to have a really strong late game team because Ahri's going to be very survivable against Zyra and everything, and then Jax and Varus will be very strong. So we'll have to see how that's going to kind of work. Nunu coming up in the top lane, but Vladimir is pretty safe there. Vlad will have to worry a little bit because Jax, as the lane progresses, will naturally beat Vlad.
Yeah, and Vlad tends to push a lot, right, with his E, so a little bit risky there. And see if Shyvana can make something happen here. Jax has that wave that he can kind of bounce on, so if Shyvana waits a little bit longer, it's going to provide less options for Jax. So, and Jax going in on Vlad, and Vlad's just going to pull out. And here comes Shyvana. Shyvana, what can you do? And the exhaust goes off, and he jumps out of there, but Vlad turns around and is doing some damage. I don't know if it's going to be enough that ignite. He's just going to get out of there. So, burning some summoners,
Yeah.
just so that's good.
And actually, Shyvana doesn't have the red buff, so
good point.
Not having the red buff took it a little bit too early, and then didn't get a gank off when she's had it. As a result, didn't have the follow-up. Otherwise, usually the exhaust gank will be pretty successful. So Vlad will be okay right now. Jax is naturally, because he's a bruiser initiator, that's the best combo to Vlad generally, will naturally beat Vlad. However, Vlad does have the benefit of being able to play very safely. In order for Jax to beat Vlad, he needs to be extremely aggressive, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to ganks if Shyvana can start to put on some pressure as the game progresses. So we'll have to see how that kind of works. And one of the nice things about Shyvana, as always, is that she's got such a fast clearing speed that she can, clear her entire jungle and then still go for ganks. She's never going to put herself behind like other junglers might.
Yeah, we actually don't see a lot of Shyvana anymore, and I think that might have to do with the prominence of the gold per 10 junglers nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit safer, and she's a little bit gear dependent, so she can be tanky when Varus getting stunned and just getting bursted down. Meanwhile, Shyvana's coming in. What can you do?
Yeah, and they will back off. Janna just barely able to get in there. Varus doing actually a really nice job of turning that damage around onto them as they're backing off. So they will have to play kind of defensively here, but with the lane pushing into them, not really that big of an issue. Janna will be able to hold them underneath the tower. Taric coming up for a stun, but they should be pretty safe. But in the meantime, Ahri looking for that roaming potential, and once she hits 6 on Ahri, that's really strong. Nunu as well moving into the top jungle, but Vladimir will back off, recognizes something is not quite right. I don't see several of these members, so we'll be safe.
Yeah, really good map awareness from Vlad. I mean, without that ward, knowing that something was coming, just good. He's a mind reader, you know? Yeah. So that's
one thing I'm kind of curious, Vlad, he is going for the normal Hextech Revolver build, but we have seen recently Vladimir starting to go into a more aggressive early build, and getting Haunting Guys in particular, the damage output that Vlad has is just phenomenal in the mid game. You don't actually need as much farm as you used to expect Vlad to get. He's still farm pretty successfully in the top lane. He's doing very well so far, actually out-farming Jax in that lane, partly because of the jungle pressure that he's been able to receive. But in the mid game, Vlad's AoE is just like second to none. It's so difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I always hate playing against Vlad because of just how much freaking damage he does. And I mean, he does well in the late game too. So yeah, really good. Just I really like him as a top lane because of how, I mean, of course his damage, but his mobility and his escape just make him just like overall just well-rounded.
Yeah, no, he is a very tend to be safe. Jax getting off some quick burst damage, and that's kind of the issue, is that Jax, he can just take Vlad from 100 to 0 almost instantly. Nunu is sitting up in the top, mostly going to try and keep an eye on Shyvana, so they can try and bait in Shyvana, expect that, they know that Shyvana's going to want to get those ganks off on Jax while he's being aggressive. Shyvana does grab that red buff once again, so we'll have that, and Ahri actually coming up top is caught off in the ward, so they'll probably sit back and actually kind of play defensively for a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, the wards were there, and I mean, Zyra saw Ahri going up, so it's just really apparent what's going on. They're playing it real safe, so that's good, but Nunu's still poised for that gank. Oh, and Jax just jumps in and it pulls. Is he going to be able to get away? I don't know, but that stun goes off from Jax. Get that ignite off. I don't know, they're turning it around so hard onto Jax, and he goes down so quickly. Oh man, just getting a little bit over aggressive there, and I mean, they put the ignite down, but it just wasn't enough, and the Shyvana ultimate really solidified the distance between Jax and Vladimir, so keeping him real safe.
And the exhaust in particular from Shyvana was able to turn that around, because Jax's early damage, he has a lot of burst damage, but his cooldowns are actually pretty long early on. Ezreal chasing down Varus, dodges the ultimate, so really nice play there. So, Jax, he has his quick leap strike combo, but he actually has pretty long cooldowns early on. So with the exhaust, he's not able to get the follow-up damage to finish that off. And then Shyvana actually has really just astounding amounts of damage early in the game.
Yeah.
The AoE, and it's a lot of magic damage too. She has a nice mix of physical and magic, and I don't think people actually realize how much magic damage she has with her W active and her E and everything.
Yeah, so in your opinion, why don't we see more Shyvana? I mean, we still do IPL face-off.
Yeah.
Of course, Saint Vicious playing a lot of Shyvana, and but I mean, just not nearly. There was a period of time when Shyvana was like the go-to jungler, when we saw her rise to infamy, I guess,
I'll be
with
honest,
Moscow 5.
I think we need to see more Shyvana. it doesn't really make sense to me. I understand the reasons for it. Some of the things are that Shyvana late game, she kind of falls off compared with some of the other junglers. She's just kind of a tanky body. You dive into the enemy team and you try and zone off the carry, but usually you just don't have quite enough damage. Mid game, like that's where Shyvana excels, at zoning off the AD carry. You know, you can easily engage into that back line. And so it's kind of weird because Curse, they played some Shyvana. Oh gosh, right as the camera moves, Jack's chasing down Vladimir. Will be able to maybe pick him up once he hits the cooldowns once again. Nice. He does get it, and the flash picks up that kill.
That was really good. Yeah, he recognized that the pool was down because he just used it. He's like, well, if you're just going to hang out and Shyvana's going to go in, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Jax getting that
with
stun.
The dodge, she has it.
Nice.
Yeah, so barely able to get out of there. Curse, they're one of those teams that have gone for it. Ari jumping in on Desire will back out of the ultimate last second, so they will be able to survive that. Curse is one of those teams that have played a lot of Shyvana, namely because St. Vicious has just shown in the past how strong he is. And actually, one of their best comps, they would go for the Shyvana Orianna. The ultimate, though, instantly killing Wadiu and Chaijo trying to back out of there. I love trying to pronounce their names.
I know, and I'm having a good time listening to you try to pronounce them.
Spirit, I can pronounce Spirit
and yeah, Spirit Girlfriend.
Spirit Girlfriend.
Yeah, that's easy.
So anyway, Curse, they ran a Shyvana Orianna comp, and that's actually worked out very well for them because it gives them a really strong mid game. Like it's the team fighting potential when you have the Shyvana come in with the Ori follow up is very strong. It can protect your back line very easily. Shyvana is one of the safest junglers in the game. The big concern is I think people are a little bit too hesitant to play her because she doesn't have very strong ganks like we see, you know, a lot of Maokai. She doesn't have, you know, the same kind of late game presence that a Nocturne or a Mundo would have. Yeah. But I don't know. I think she's really underrated right now. I think a lot of people recognize how strong she is and then just choose not to play her. They're just playing other champions. Yeah,
I think you hit the nail on the head with Mundo. I think she really fell out of favor and you know, and was replaced with Mundo because of just how ridiculous his late game is, and you know, just with that ultimate allows him to be just that much more tanky. So that makes sense to me. Yeah.
And in the meantime, it is just about 500 gold advantage for Team Spirit. So Trolling God haven't quite pulled out all of the jokes and punches, everything yet. But, you know, both teams have a very strong mid game. Team Spirit, they actually have a little bit better dragon control. So 13 minutes in now, they will go for this blue buff. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for dragon, you know, shortly after, particularly if they see Nunu up in the top lane. If Nunu shows his presence up top, then Shyvana with you know, the Madreds and then also Zyra, they can clear the dragon very quickly. So that will be a nice strength of theirs. Ari actually going for Deathfire's Grasp, and that's something we've seen for a while from Ari. That quick burst damage into the back line, particularly if you follow it up with a Abyssal Scepter and how strong that's been recently. And then like go the M5 build, Alex Ich with the Guardian Angel, so you can play more of an assassin role and feel comfortable that you're not just suiciding.
Yeah, you were talking about that single target damage. Oh, but meanwhile, they're collapsing right onto Varus with that Janna ult, just pushing them out and keeping them safe. But yeah, I mean, with that single target damage that you're talking about early on, with the Varus, with the Jax, and then now with that Deathfire's Grasp, just really matches that. But Vladimir is getting chunked down. The Ignite's off. He finishes him off, diving on him there.
Yeah, and at this point, being level 10, it's actually level 9. You hit the max cooldown reduction on your leap strike, so it drops down to like 5 seconds. So, you know, that does allow him to chase down Vladimir a little bit more easily, despite the fact that Vladimir has that ghost, so he's going to be faster than Jax. But yeah, really nice job there. It should be kind of interesting to see how this lane kind of progresses because Janna is very safe, but Ezreal has plenty of damage to burst down that shield, generally speaking. And because of the mobility of Ezreal, now you see the lane is on their side. It's pushing against them. Ezreal can hold the lane there. And so they have this entire lane to chase down Varus and just force him out of lane. In the meantime, Shyvana's actually going for the dragon on her own, so she's going to be able to grab that, get them a nice little gold advantage.
Yeah, oh, she realized she can't do it. That's unfortunate. Oh, it just...
She doesn't have quite enough lifesteal, so it doesn't have the full wriggles, so Tarek's going to come over. They'll swap tanks. Tarek, why? That's surprising. I thought Tarek would pick that up, but you know what? They recognize, okay, Ari's leaving mid. They saw us leave the bottom lane. Yeah. So... You know, it's really kind of a dangerous situation there.
Yeah, that was a good thought. I mean, had the Oracles knew that there wasn't a whole lot of vision around the dragon, so good use of time. I mean, they were trying to make it happen, so unfortunately, put them a little bit behind by not getting it. But Shyvana's just gonna go back out and try her best.
I was just thinking about one of the other issues with Shyvana is she has great movement speed, but if you have a team that's really successful at kiting, like someone like Ezreal or something, then if you're which is what we're seeing, we're mostly seeing Ezreal and Corki a lot now. If you dive into the back line, once your ultimate's down, they can just kite you, and you know, you're just kind of there. You don't really have any sort of follow-up. All you have is movement speed. But Ezreal, is he going to walk right into it? He will. The charm into the Nunu ultimate, going down very quickly. Actually, almost able to get out of there. But Luxi should be able to chase down Girlfriend. The charm once again with the team follow-up. If they can get in range, Wadiu's trying to get off the slow, but he's just not quite able to get it. And Zyra turning it around, actually bursting down Ari instantly. Really phenomenal damage there. And now Shyvana coming in will be able to chase down Chejo and force him out. On the other side, Tarek's pretty low, but the Janna ultimate, they have to retreat. They're all very low. They don't want to get hit by a Zyra snare.
Oh my gosh. Oh, but Shyvana's still trying. Oh, gets caught up with trying to ult. Really nice from Janna. That was pretty good. But yeah, that Zyra, oh my gosh, that was so much damage. Came out just, I mean, I don't know what happened. They literally just blasted in front of my eyes. So, but Zyra, that's the power of it.
You were blinded.
I was blinded by the light.
Science.
Oh,
no.
Nice.
Yeah, I was actually going to, I started off thinking blinded by the light, but I changed it up, threw a little switcheroo in.
Yeah, I wasn't ready, and I don't even like science. So
wow.
That's fine. That's a good song. Okay, anyway. But yeah, Zyra just does so much damage, and we're going to be seeing a lot out of her. But the thing, too, you're talking about Shyvana, you know, can get to that backline, but, you know, you have Nunu there, too, with that ultimate. So pretty good at counter-initiating and just collapsing on whoever tries to get aggressive. Oh, meanwhile, Vlad with that ult, with the tower, and then here comes Shyvana to try to make something happen. Oh, and he dives onto Vladimir. Is Vladimir going to live? I don't know. It's going to be really close, and he goes down, and then Jax goes down shortly after.
Oh, but Ari, she's coming in for it. She wants the kill, diving underneath the turret. Not sure that she has quite enough damage. Doesn't throw off the charm through the minions. Wasn't quite sure that she'd be able to hit it. So we'll back off.
So crazy.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about the Nunu comment, because both Nunu and Janna help provide that disengage, but Nunu's absolute zero against a mobility initiator. If Shyvana doesn't have that ultimate to get past Nunu, then that's it. Like, Nunu's just going to completely zone her off, and that's going to be a serious issue for them later on in this game. You know, to try and pick off people. For the most part, they're going to want to play defensively. Shyvana's actually going to focus on counter initiation as opposed to initiation for them, because they can just, you know, use that spam ability that Zyra has to try and pick people off, and then just kind of poke them with Vladimir and Ezreal. And when they get too close, then Zyra can jump in, pull Jax off in particular, and try and, you know, body block for the rest of them.
Yeah, that yes,
I concur.
I concur. You know, and the only problem too is, you know, Jax is the initiation for that team for TGT, bruiser initiation, like you talked about. Maybe Ari a little bit too, but so I mean, I don't think you're going to see a lot of like strong initiation from them because of Tarek can just stun and burst down. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of patient poking and a lot of standoff coming out of both teams when we get to that team fight stage.
And that's actually the benefit of having the Varus for that long range, and also the Ari for that long range poke. They're not looking, because you see Spirit, you know, the only full initiation they have is Shyvana. So they have a team that they're looking to sit back and poke them down. Well, Varus has longer range. Varus is a little bit better at that. He's going to have the support that Nunu has. So late game, his damage output is going to be really incredible. But they can just try and poke people down with the Varus Qs, grab people with the Ari Charm, grab people with the Varus ultimate. Once they pick off one person, then go in and, you know, burst them down. That is going to be the strength. What was that?
Go ham.
Go ham?
Yeah.
What, did I say something?
No. We can, it stands for something. Anyway, so they're going to go ahead and take this dragon. You don't know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, hopefully someone on the stream knows what I'm talking about. But, okay, so they got the dragon, not a whole lot of threat there. And then Ari just trying to poke down a little bit,
it's too. Like the only thing in my mind right now is if it's like a really bad accent. You're like, go big or go ham. I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Someone on stream knows what I'm talking about. I'm sure chat is revealing right now, so it'll be a little bit thing that me and
the mysteries of the life in the universe.
Something me and chat know, but that you don't know. It's a fun little.
That's a shame. Yeah. I'm actually really anxious now to find out, but we'll getting back to the game, we'll be able to check this out. It's actually been really even so far. So both teams really doing a nice job of not allowing the other to take advantage. You know, we've seen some nice mobility from Ari right now, starting to work on that Abyssal Scepter. So that burst damage is going to be, you know, phenomenal. I expect big things from that Ari with the phenomenal damage and everything. But
oh gosh.
I know, it's really bad. But Nunu, in the meantime, he has the oracles. He's going to be able to clear out some of these wards, missing the pink ward down there. So, you know, kind of an unusual spot. It is protected because it's not a standard spot for you to look. And they will be able to get some nice map control. Could actually start trying to pressure some towers. One of the nice things that they have is they have the Jax for the split push. He can just hang out top all day. And now that he has an advantage over Vladimir, you know, he can just be really extremely aggressive in that lane. And that's going to pull the rest of Spirit out of position.
Oh man, it gets the charm off, just doing what you can. Ari just getting that poke down, and you know, it's always good to try.
She works hard for that money.
No, she does. And yeah, man, you're just like 80s song like reference.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Keep going.
No, okay.
I like it.
That's funny. But yeah, they're just Ari just so good at poking. You know, it's true damage when the orb returns to her. So it's pretty good. And Zyra, of course, is a decent champion. Can clear pretty quick. It's doing pretty well. But oh, they're getting in position. Jax is going to jump pretty quick onto Vlad here. Oh, and Nunu's there too for the snowball to slow him down just enough to get that stun off. And then Nunu will maybe a little overkill. Maybe.
Yeah, so they're able
and
to
even
grab
took
that.
the kill.
In the meantime, Ezreal takes down Varus in the bottom lane. I'm going to assume Taric just got off a stun, actually onto Janna, and so then Varus gets out of position, is bursted down almost instantly, and not having a hard disengage, being forced to use the flash, makes things very difficult.
Flash teleport coming out of Ezreal covers so much distance instantly. Yeah. Was able to just dive under that tower real quick, get the kill. So, but yeah, after taking out Vladimir, Shyvana just kind of there to maybe dissuade him a little bit, but Jax, of course, with that increased attack speed, just burns down turrets so dang fast, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is very strong. And I actually kind of want to go back to what you were saying earlier. You were talking about Ari, how her Q is actually true damage, and that tower is dropping almost instantly. They are able to pick that up. Ari zoning off Zyra here, so they will be safe. So Ari, there is true damage on her Q, and actually one of the benefits of that is because Spirit doesn't have strong initiation, and a lot of that initiation is going to come from Shyvana. Shyvana is actually really susceptible to true damage because she's not a high HP champion. You know, like Mundo, she's based on resistance. So she's based on magic resistant armor. Her ultimate gives her a lot of MR and armor, and you see from, you know, her items and everything, she could get like an Aegis shortly probably. But having actually a pretty low base HP, just below 2k right now, that true damage is going to be really, you know, dangerous versus her. Same thing with Varus. Varus has a lot of you know, burst damage as well. When you proc your abilities, it's actually, is it magic damage? It is magic damage, but that's, you know, that's still a nice mix. That's actually one of the strengths of Varus, is that you have a nice mix of physical and magic. It's kind of is the same thing with Corki, that you have a mix of true magic and physical. Yeah,
that is nice from Varus, but of course, like you said, he is very single target damage, and with the low mobility and in the way that his Q works, and, you know, preventing him from using his auto attacks, he falls off quite a bit in the late game, and he's not going to be as strong as maybe someone like Graves or even Ezreal, really.
Yeah, so we'll have to see. You know, late with the Nunu buff and everything, he will have, you know, really nice damage output. But the concern is going to be if the high mobility team, you know, can try and force and engage on him. So that is always going to be a weakness as the game progresses for Varus. They are coming up here. They have the Nunu oracles, and they will, you know, try and force them out. So they have really good map coverage. You know, we'll be trying to pick someone off as that next dragon spawns. I'm trying to think when the dragon is. I guess it should be soon, like in the next minute.
Let us hope. Oh, but just getting that charm and just some of that damage. Oh, and then here comes the Zyra ultimate, just wrecking people in Zyra, just doing tons of damage. Ari takes out Vladimir, but not before Vladimir kills Nunu, and then Varus, there's no getting away, bro. You're slow as heck, and he goes down really quick, and Zyra just burning down everybody, burning down the house, if you will.
I like it, Nick. I am all for that. There are a bunch of psycho killers coming over for the Baron here, but the interesting thing with that last fight, Trolling God, they actually have a really poor jungle team, and they tried to force a fight in the jungle. It's a really nice bottleneck for them when they have a single target team. They want to be able to keep Nunu in front and have the rest of their ADs and everything in the back line, but they all kind of grouped up, and that played right into the hands of Zyra and Shyvana in particular, and Vladimir. So they're able to, once they're all clumped up, they had the AoE, just laid it down on top of them, and were easily able to win that fight, as opposed to, Trolling God trying to pick off individual members and, go from there. So we'll see, if they can hold off now, but that's, you always kind of look at the one fight that, ends the game, the one fight that was like a turning point. That was it. Spirit now 4K ahead. They get the Baron. That's going to be extremely devastating, and they can try and wear down the enemy turrets and whatnot. The one strength of Trolling God right now that they can look forward to is the fact that they can clear the lanes pretty easily, which is going to make it difficult for Spirit to push. And Jax can continue to split push rather than grouping with his team. And by Jax split pushing, he's actually going to put a lot of lane pressure onto Spirit, where they're not going to be able to force objectives quite as aggressively as they would like to.
Yeah. And going back to that team fight too, Trolling God team, they really wanted to kite and try to get out and just do anything, but the Zyra ultimate is just so damn big that once she gets in there and gets that off, like, it's very difficult to get out of range of that thing because of its massive size. So unable to kite and then unable to get away from all that damage. And yeah, and Zyra, I mean, she's probably the worst champion in the game right now.
Oh, is that true? I haven't heard that.
Yeah. If you know,
Zyra is the worst right now.
She is the worst right now. So, but they have a really big lead, and they have that AoE damage. So, team fights are really just heavily in Spirit's favor now. Yeah, no,
their fights will be very strong, and I don't know, we'll see if Ari can pick anyone off. Actually, the arcane shift from Ezreal getting over that wall, doesn't want to walk through these bushes, so good call on his part. Otherwise, he'd be walking right into Ari's fists of death, or dragon fire of death. But they will back off. Zyra is starting to push down the mid lane. Shyvana watching on the side, does have an Oracles herself, so they can try and get the map control with that Baron and everything. So we'll see where they go. They could try and split push Vladimir, but I think for the most part they're looking to force a fight. The only issue is whether or not they can force a fight under the tower, because Shyvana can take towers pretty easily, but I'm not sure that it will be enough. But they do force them off. They are able to take the first one if they can continue to pressure them and try and get the second.
Yeah, another huge strength of Zyra is her ability to push down towers and just push lanes really well. And you want to go in and try to stop her from doing that, but you puts you in range of her spells. So it's just such a difficult situation to face against a Zyra who has a lead like that and who can just push you down so quick.
That's actually my favorite thing with Zyra is as you push a tower, you can start to drop seedlings right along the edge of the turret. And in order for the enemy team to get rid of them, they're going to have to walk over them or just leave them there. So they can slowly push them down. They are trying to defend this. The tower is down to half, and they will back off for another wave. So you can start to drop them sometimes, and they'll sit there until you decide to push down the turret. You can just drop the turret very quickly. Or if someone does come up a little bit too close, you throw off your snare, and you have a lot of burst damage, and those seedlings will do a lot. But just very slowly, every time the minion waves come up, they're able to just poke them, like you were saying, with that Zyra snare.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't have a lot of initiation, but they don't really need to. They can kind of sit back and wait for something to happen and come to them like this, and then the Zyra ultimate goes off and just kills everybody. Oh my gosh, and then Jax is going to get out of there, but not before Varus, Ari, Janna go down. Nunu's just probably going to go down here too. Can't get away from Shyvana. Oh, the snowball is just enough, but it looks like they're going to get this tower and this inhib, and that's the problem. It's just, how do you initiate against this team? Like, Zyra just blew everybody up. Jax has to get in, has to get close, and when you do that, you just get completely destroyed by, everyone. You get the Taric stun, you get the Vlad AoE, you get the Zyra AoE, you get the crazy focused burst from Ezreal.
Yeah, so taking a look at that once again, and Zyra really just absolutely wrecked them in that fight. Like, it was unbelievable. And then the Ezreal ultimate as well, picking off Ari. But they were basically all instantly dead. They tried to get Jax into the backline, but he didn't quite get there fast enough. So getting Jax in the backline, they can, try and put on some pressure. If they have Jax in the backline, then Zyra maybe has to turn her attention to Jax and can't, take down Varus, can't take down Ahri like they would like to. But that long pressure is just massive. Shyvana coming around the side, trying to zone them off, but Ahri's going to get some nice damage. They will have to back off, though, because their team is there for the support. Tarek throws off the stun. Vladimir is there as well. And so Shyvana coming around the backside, it actually leaves open that turret, but the Ahri jumping in, trying to pick up Zyra, but they do back off. They don't fully commit. And Zyra, again, just by herself, almost dropping Nunu.
Oh my gosh, that ridiculous damage, and the seeds dropping him really quickly and just converted so much damage. She's so strong. And I mean, I was just thinking, that last team fight, that huge one in the mid there, I mean, it was the Zyra ultimate, and then it was the Vladimir ultimate. Yeah. I think actually may have been Vlad, then Zyra. It was just, so the damage amplified was just tremendous. And I mean, and that's Zyra is, the best champion right now.
Oh, all of a sudden, just completely reversing course here. Vladimir, that is something to consider. The fact that how much damage Vladimir has, but the Abyssal Scepter with Zyra as well, and the damage increase that Vladimir has with his ultimate is just incredible. So it's just really difficult. They have a very survivable team, and trolling God team, they don't quite have the range to pick off any of these members, just because Spirit can kite very easily and then pick people off with Zyra, and then they don't have the sheer brute force to just dive at them, those are kind of the two options you want. You want to either be able to kite them and pick people off, or you want to just be able to brute force them. They don't have either of those things. Spirit going for the Baron now will drop very quickly, so they're going to be able to take that. The Dragon clearing out her brethren.
Yeah.
We'll see how they're going to try and defend it. They are sitting in the brush here. They do have an Oracles if they try and pick someone off, but they are going to back off. Don't want to go for that risky play.
Yeah. And you said they needed that hard initiation, and you're absolutely right. And the only problem is Spirit has a pretty strong late game team, and TGT's are trolling God teams pretty good, but I mean, Varus kind of falls off. Jax is, of course, a beast, but I mean, it's not going to be quite as strong as Spirit. And we're getting into that late game, and Spirit has a lead. So, I mean, even playing slow at this point and careful, I mean, it's going to be really hard for them to come back.
Yeah, and even with the damage that they have, like Varus has a significant amount of damage right now, but just there's no survivability. Cheijo goes down almost instantly in these fights to all of their AoE, and without that survivability on Varus, it's just such an issue. They are dropping this turret very easily, while Shyvana is zoning them around the backside, and they do get another turret. This will be vulnerable. They do throw off the charm, the Shurelya's as well, so Tarek just barely not able to get that stun, as they retreat.
So just bursting down this inhibitor, but Ahri goes in, does some damage, and tries to get out the Nunu ultimate. Can he convert? No, he cannot. The Zyra ultimate, however, showing up the Nunu ultimate, and that is how you do that. You just take them out, you take the towers, you win the game. Zyra is the worst champion right now.
And Varus in that entire team fight was just completely scared to do anything. Couldn't ever really get in. So actually Varus did almost no damage. Zyra picking her off. No, just barely. Vladimir wants it. He's hungry, throwing off the Zhonyas. Varus, in that last team fight, you saw Varus didn't attack anyone, really. Like, Varus didn't get off any damage, so everyone was very high health at the end. Just because Varus recognized, if I go in there and try and, get off any attacks or anything, I'm going to die. And so that's a serious concern. You do see, Ashe has kind of the same issues that Varus has, but Ashe has better range than Varus does. Ashe has, the volley has 1050 range. Oh, I was waiting again for that stat screen. Not going to happen. Ashe has 1050 range in the volley, compared with Varus's like 800 range on the slow. And then Ashe also has the infinite range on the arrow, which, can allow for that long range initiation, allows for a little bit more easy kiting. Ashe also has 600 attack range compared with the 575. So just these minor differences, just small little differences where Ashe comes into play a little bit more than Varus, but really strong play from Spirit. And so it seems that God will not be trolled for today.
The Spirit beat the God. It's a good day. It's crazy.
It is a good day.
Yeah.
But once again, guys, we would like to remind you, if you go to IGN.com/IPL, we do have a TSM signature giveaway. So little posters that we have from Face Off, they're pretty cool. And actually, so we got a number of the members to sign them. As we said earlier, if you're a big fan of TSM, then you need to get in on it. If you're not a big fan of TSM, get in on it anyway, then sell it on eBay and scam the TSM guys for all they are worth.
Yeah. Sell it on eBay and Baron will buy it.
I actually will. I'm gonna be like,
And
oh,
frame
you
it
know.
and put it in his collection of TSM paraphernalia.
And then I'll Photoshop some pictures of me with them and be like, they're my best friends.
Look at us. We go way back.
All right, guys.
He doesn't have any friends.
Oh, God.
Why?
Once again, thank you, guys. Thank you, Mr. Sexy, Handsome Nick Allen.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
That's like how we refer to him around the office. It's just all the time.
It's constantly just the most. But
the most BS ever.
Yeah. So, guys, add me on Twitter at Nick Allen IGN. And this guy has a Twitter, but if you follow him, you should unfollow him. And follow me instead.
That's true. Make sure you follow him, not me, so he can continue kicking my ass all up and down Twitter. I actually don't tweet it that much. I need to get involved with that more. I don't know.
It's a good time.
It is fun.
Twitter
but IPL 5, we're really excited. We finally get to announce it. Like it's been so long.
Wow.
We've just been waiting for years.
Just years. This has
Years upon
This has
years.
been in the making for what year is it? 2012. For 100,000 years.
Dear, like the sun, millions, billions of years ago, when the Earth was created. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We will throw up a rebroadcast for you, and later on, what is the NA match for today?
Oh, it is. What day is it? It's Thursday today.
Yes.
It is. No, it's Troopers. So the team
wow.
that beat CLGNA in our face-off qualifiers that prevented CLGNA from making it to face-off. So they're going to be playing against, I believe, it is Underrated Gaming.
Okay.
I think I said that yesterday.
I would say that they don't have a chance, except that
Hey,
then I'd be underrating them.
You'd be buying into the hype.
I would be buying into that. Yes, that should be pretty exciting. Once again, this is qualifier number 3 that we're running. We're going to be starting our EU qualifier shortly as well. So it will be teams like CLG and Dignitas that actually haven't qualified yet to try and get into that IPL 5 pool, which is just absolutely stacked right now with like CLG EU, Moscow 5, some of the Asian teams.
Oh, no.
Ice. Yeah. We're trying to, see if we can get Azubu to come on down.
Yeah,
we do have the live qualifiers, so we're poking them. Just like a little stick.
Also, so if you have like a team as well, and you're like, well, I can't do the qualifier, but I want to show up and compete at IPL 5 at a chance for $100,000, you can do that too. So it's going to be a live qualifier. I don't think anyone's ever done that before, and that's what we're claiming in our article. So it's going to be a first-time live qualifier. Should be really cool. So check that out, guys. IPL 5, amazing. I'm Nick Allen. This is the Red Baron, and we'll see you next week, tomorrow, tonight.
Later.